It's spooky season. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello. Oh, man. You ever just have a nice, cold, crispy water and it just hits exactly right? Oh, man. I was just muting my phone and I got a boop but a scoop boop. How are you gonna do me like that? Hello. It's like middle of the night water. That is what it's like. Ah. Hello, everyone. I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Lewis. Where's Alphonse? In the basement. I'm gonna say this once because it's been like a fairly like common question or like speculation. Guys, no, I did not make art for the entire roster of characters to do all in the 1 month of October. I picked a few that sounded like a good time, and that's what I'm doing. If you are not keen on what I'm doing, you can go fuck yourself. I don't know. It's not about appeasing everyone. It's about doing what aligns with my desires. So that's what I'm doing. Respectfully. Now, that doesn't mean that other spooky inspired AUs for characters will happen in the future. It'll be great, but these are the ones that got picked for October. And given the fact that I've like botched October several times over the years, like this is pretty good. This is progress. This is progress. So I am happy. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about him. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So where do we even begin? Also, I'm really glad that people have been excited about Greaser Seth. That's very fun and unexpected, honestly. But the amount of people who like only know Greasers from one specific thing, like, borders on obnoxious to me. Because like Greasers have existed in many things. So, you know. Here we go. It's a race to see who can name the like 3 pieces of media they know Greasers from. Will Al still get it? I'm going to talk about what audios are happening this month. Literally, the people getting spooky season audios are the ones pictured above. That's it. Guys, I swear to you, he's not fucking inspired by a specific character from a piece of media I've never watched. Holy shit. Do you know how easy it is to make it? Slick back hair, white shirt, leather jacket, jeans. It's a greaser. Like, people think that they're being cute. But I'm like so annoyed. Your feelings are hurt. Your name is the Charlie Hunter, and you're pissing and moaning because there's no Alphonse this month. Your priorities are very strange. So to be fair, like Yandere Finn is also getting stuff, but like he's existed. He's not like, this is, you know, a big reveal thing, not a, he counts, but like he's around forever. Yeah, so I say hi to your cat, Dr. Lucrose. I don't, if we can throw up the pin for the question, Doc. Let me go pull up that. Here we go. You can send your questions to that form. There we go. Oh my god. The one from last stream was so much. Yeah, okay. I'm not here. Okay. Kitsu Ray 8D20XX. No one asked. No, if you don't like Yandere, that's fine. That is so fine. There's a lot of things that I don't like. I don't go into a live chat and like announce it to the world as if anyone gives a shit. So thank you for sharing. I hope that was worth it for you. It was wonderful for me. Yeah. I'm good. So, here's what people are so obnoxious. So, here's what's going on. Welcome to spooky season. We are going to have 3 series of various spooky season audios. What we've got going on, which, you know, the synopsis was a little vague, but not vague enough that it wasn't super clear. So Charlie is inspired by just the general like 80s nerd, kind of like the character you'd find in a slasher, etc. that particular trope. And I love it for him because it's different. And basically, it's his voice, but just slightly nasally. And it's a lot of fun to do. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. And yes, he is a Yandere. The way, well, I can't really, I won't divulge the particulars. But, yeah, he is a bit obsessed with the listener. The title for it is, let me go double check because I would feel very silly if I like butchered the name of the series. Yeah, Study Buddies. So there you go. So Charlie plays the role of the listener's tutor. And well, things pop off pretty quickly. Yeah. I didn't really contemplate how much I would share. I will say that all of the characters here all have an alternate art that expresses their particular AU. So I was debating on if I would share today or not, but I think leaving it for reveals and thumbnails is a little more fun. But yeah. So that's just the premise of Charlie's thing, is he is a nerd and he is obsessed with the listener. I will say, oh, maybe there's, I will say this, the listener, will the new art be full screen? All the artwork in the videos in particular is like, it's more of a bust. Are there alterations to the voices? Not really. Like Charlie's is a little nasally. I wouldn't say like Charlie's makes sense because like, oh, there's a reason why, you know, he comes off a little nerdier. Seth is just a southern greaser. Oron is Auron. There's not a whole lot of reason why I don't think being like an immortal creature of the night drops your vocal range. So yeah, I will say, because it's a big part of the premise, and it'll be in the title as well. So, you know, Charlie and the listener are meeting up to study, and for some reason the listener's late to their study session in the library, and when they arrive, something seems wrong, but you know, Charlie doesn't press the issue. He's just happy to see them. And come to find out that Charlie's been a little jealous because, well, the listener The listener is spoken for, or at least they were, until they got their heart broken. So, for clarity's sake, listener has been recently broken up with, by a piece of shit. Well, that really kicks things off for our dear Charlie. By the way, there's not because like the listener has already established their connection with Charlie, he doesn't necessarily introduce himself. Oh my god. Charlie in this AU is Charles. So yeah, that's Charles. You'll see it in the fucking thumbnail. The other names stay the same. What? Seth's name turns to... I don't... Yes, the other names stay the same. So then we have Seth. Seth is a southern bully who happens to have a big furry secret. Which sounds questionable. Yeah, so he's a werewolf. That'll be a lot of fun. So I mean, technically, if you were asking about like, oh, is his voice gonna be different? Well, I mean, I guess his voice might be a little different when he, you know, when that happens. It's very funny to have to dabble in the bully genre because I do not love that. I don't quite dig it. But I've made it make sense to me, so it'll be a good time. Do we get growl? I haven't done a growl in a long time, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes whenever it comes time to record. We'll see if for my creative people out there, can you think of a reason why someone who's a werewolf might be mean to someone? Like, why would you try to keep someone away who doesn't know your big furry secret? You would perhaps try to be an asshole to dissuade them from getting to know you. Chuck's deal in this AU is that he's the listener's tutor, and he's obsessed with them, and he's a yandere, and he's jealous, and finds out that they just got their heart broken. So... Anywho, a lot of you picked up what I was putting down. So that's a lot of fun. Who's Chuck? All right, it's time for y'all to realize, guys. Do y'all know that names also have other names that are basically the same name and are sometimes interchangeable? Kind of like how Richard can be called Dick. So Charles and Charlie and Chuck, all in the same boat, all the same thing. I am a little spicy tonight. I will say that. I am a little spicy tonight. So apologies if I'm a little blunt. Hi, Thea. I'm not being mean to anyone. We're all friends. I do not actually know why Dick is short for Richard. I just assume that once upon a time there were like a disproportionate amount of Richards who were not very nice. Yeah. And then we got Vampire Auron. I saw someone earlier asking, is he just Alucard? Alucard is a soft boy, a soft baby boy, a beautiful little bundle. So no, Auron is not Alucard in this particular instance. He's definitely a little more Dracula. He's definitely a little more Dracula. So the vibe in this one is the listener is a vampire hunter who has found themselves trapped at, perhaps I'm talking about the Alucard that's had audios on my channel, if I had to hazard a guess. Castlevania Alucard. So vampire hunter trying to track him down, and basically the entire, I will say the entire first audio is him like toying with them, basically offering them, you know, an opportunity to not have to you know, do all that song and dance. Michaela Makeup Nerd with the €5, thank you very much, asks, who would win in a fight, Werewolf Seth or Vampire Auron? Same question for Yandere Finn and Charlie. I would say Vampire Auron because he's not just a bloodsucker. He's like very powerful, like vampire lord. So you know, he's got like tricks up his sleeve. If you want to know, it's like for those who are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, he's more like Strahd. More like that. Yeah. So very I think the thing with him is he hasn't been hunted in a long time. He hasn't been bothered in a long time. So it'll be fun. So yes, he would mop the floor with Werewolf Seth. As for Charlie and Finn, their Yandere versions, I would say Yandere Finn would annihilate him all the time. Because Yandere Finn has a lot going on, and Charlie is just a little freak. Does Charlie stalk his listener in this? I would say that the stalking is kind of implied. Yeah, I would say so. That's fair to say. So yeah, that's the lineup. And now Casper, I'm not calling the listeners any, like, his listener in the AU isn't gonna be called Casper. Like Seth may say sugar at some point, but in the general, like, that's a southern term of endearment type of thing. Currently does not say sugar because he's not friendly with them like that. And Auron has no reason to call them rookie. So, yeah. Did you abandon Faust? What a question to ask when I'm about to talk about how much shit I have to do right now. What are we going to be called by Charles if not Casper then? Probably some fucky, like, I'm obsessed with you and you're the object of my obsession kind of names. Not every listener needs a nickname. I promise you they don't need, like, they don't need a cute little name that we know the listener as. And yes, Andy, I was just about to say, for everyone who's like, well, why don't you do this? When are you gonna do this? Guys, I'm pretty booked up because every single one of these has 3 audios. And they're all gonna come out in October if I have to. Yeah. So it's a lot. The big thing is y'all are gonna have to, like, turn up for your boy, because I don't know how YouTube's gonna react to, like, several audios in a row each week. I am very excited. Seth X Sugar, you sent a $2 super chat. Sorry. There's a lot going on, and it should just be understood. Like, if I'm doing a million things during a stream, I might not always see a super chat or something, or whatever question might have been asked there. While it is always appreciated, I'm working and it's hard for me to focus on a million things at once, so sometimes stuff might slip by. Like literally right now I can't even scroll up and find it anymore. So yeah. Yeah, so a lot of content. And no, the plan is not to hibernate. I already have the first episodes of the series each written. I'm very excited about it. Tomorrow should be a big worky time. Taro says, is it bad for me to want to throw hands with Seth if he pushes the listener in one of the audios? I don't. So here's the thing. There's two things that I really don't like that I think are really common in some of the bully genre things, is like not calling the listener an idiot. I do not like that. I don't like insulting people's intelligence. That's a line that I don't enjoy crossing. And also like physically like and another thing, I don't like when the listener hits the speaking character either. I don't like that. I think it's fucking childish. It's dumb. I don't like it. So that won't be included. So you know, that's kind of my stance on that. Yeah, there's other things. Like I'll say this, what I defaulted to as Seth's like kind of insult, non-insult, is like calling the listener weird, which is more of a playful thing, because there's not a I don't fucking know what you mean by blah blah blah. Hanako-san, you've asked the question a million times in chat where you're not even supposed to ask the question. Holy shit. You mean like a vampire noise? No. Christ. Oh, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Of course, it's a reference that I literally don't give two shits about. Of course it is. Oh God, now there goes chat. I think I watched the first one, but I didn't quite give a fuck. Oh, chat. What else? Yeah. I should look at questions. Let's see. Let's see. Damn, that's a lot of questions. All right. What the fuck asked, how come Auron's character art hasn't changed to the new one yet? There's been one audio. There's only been one audio. And because I didn't tell Thu to use the new art, like it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Let's see. Let me click this. There we go. Now I can see where I'm at. Do you plan on continuing the spooky season AUs after spooky season? That's a good question, Beans. I feel like Charlie, like just nerd Charlie in general, might be very popular. Like if he's just like a nerdy best friend doing one-shots. And everyone likes a good like random Yandere thing every so often. I know, I see it, Thea. I'll get there. Oh, did you move everything over there too? You did. Okay, thank you. That's sick. Let's see. So yeah, I think high school AU for the boys never, because I make content about characters fucking, and I'm not gonna fucking make content with minors. These questions should be fairly obvious. Was it a joke? I couldn't tell. With the amount of dipshit questions we're getting, like I would either make the joke funny or, you know. Do I have a favorite animal? I like my cats. I should specify, we've got 99% great questions, but like 2 or 3 people are being really obnoxious tonight. So that's what's bothersome. Let's see. Casper asked, this may be a spicier question, but for Vampire Auron, where specifically would he bite the listener if that were to happen? Like, would he do the stereotypical neck bite, the arm, or perhaps the thigh? Well, the deal is, this is a vampire hunter he's dealing with. So, he's not biting them for fun if he would have to bite them. He would be biting to rip their jugular out of their neck. Now, that's not to say that if they became friendly, he wouldn't be opposed to biting elsewhere. But, you know. Okay. Here's what we're not gonna do in the chat, okay? We're not gonna pretend we're having medical emergencies and getting attention from strangers in the chat. Please don't do that. That's a bit much. You can either call 911 or don't ask random people in chat for medical advice. Oh man. Taro asked, I just want to ask if Auron hosted that pizza party Rook wanted. I would say yeah. Rook, to be fair, Rook gets what Rook wants. Auron's kind of at this point, you know, who's really holding the leash here? Well, hello, Fluffy Junior YouTube. I'm answering questions that people have sent to the question form. What's my favorite Halloween movie? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have, like, I'm not big into horror movies. Oh, wait, no, there is an answer, and it's one that I've not watched in a long time, but if I had to pick one, I'd Sleepy Hollow. It would be Sleepy Hollow. Bubblegum Gamer asked, I know Alphonse isn't here, but if he was, what would his spooky thing be? Like, what would his costume be? I personally think he'd be a bright pink zombie. I don't know. I don't know. Starly says, you are so silly. Anyways, what is your favorite thing to draw? Little shapes, because I can't draw. Oh shit, you're right. Bubblegum Gamer, my bad. I read the wrong line on the spreadsheet. So for clarity's sake, everyone, Bubblegum Gamer asked about the Halloween movie. My fault. That was Lampy Lamperson who asked about Alphonse's Halloween costume. Maybe Alphonse would put on the maid outfit. Hi, Anaya. Welcome. When was Sleepy Hollow made? It was like an early 2000s one, right? I think. Drea asked, do you have any October plans? I want to carve a pumpkin myself and go on a hayride. I don't have... I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. How did you come up with the designs for spooky season? I sort of just picked whatever tropes I thought would be fun. I just sort of smashed things together and thought I would have a good time, and then I did it. There was no, like... To be fair, hold on. To be fair, the Discord had planted little seeds in my brain about Werewolf Seth and Vampire Auron for sure. So I would say I was a little inspired. Yeah. I mean, friends are gonna have a Halloween party I will be attending. Other than that, it's just kind of like I'm chilling. There's not a lot, like, there's stuff I could do, but there's not. I don't know. I would, if I could do anything, I would like teleport to a cozy place that actually has fall. Oh shit, I haven't been to Spirit yet. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Lots of people asked what the inspiration was. Will Greaser Seth still be interested in spooky things? I mean, he's a werewolf, so he is the spooky thing, you know? So I don't think he's not gonna be like, oh man, cryptids, you know, like he transforms into a werewolf every full moon. So he's got other stuff to go on and worry about. Any dates you can share about the spooky audios dropping? So like starting next week is the goal. And then they will drop out on the same day the following week. And I can say that Monday will be Charlie. Also, a whole other thing going on. Charlie's series, so like actual canonical to Charlie's story and everything, that is also dropping. The first episode of which is tomorrow on Thursday. And then every Thursday will be an episode of the series called Lost and Found. That is the name of the series, and that is Charlie's big thing. Yeah. Crazy asked, is there a name you go by? I just go by Yuri on the internet. It's fine. There was like 2 years where I didn't love that my identity was tied to the name, because like it was too late to swap the branding around, right? Like YuuriVoice was a thing. So yeah, Yuri's fine. It's not strange anymore. I'm so used to it. So Ocean Lu, I suppose that this is answered now, but yeah, he'll be starting next week as well. Yo, that's awesome, Naya. Yeah, the Finn compilation video did insane numbers. Like, damn. So yeah. Nico Illustrations asked, what's your favorite part about Halloween? That's a good question. I don't know. I think shenanigans with friends is what it boils down to for me now. I don't do a whole, you know, like, well, I'm not fucking trick-or-treating anymore, so I don't have a whole lot going on. I just enjoy that we're in the season now. I like decorating. I like all that. So yeah. And Runehelm, Auron compilation will be a thing. My plan is to have it drop before Shattered comes out, because that kind of makes sense. Christina asked, is the Yandere Finn audio going to be a follow-up to any previous ones or a standalone? It will be a follow-up to the most recent one. And calling it most recent sounds ridiculous because it was like literally a year ago. But the one where it was like Yandere versus Yandere and Finn gets captured, it's the sequel to that. It's been written forever. It's just been sitting in my documents, and I just haven't done it, so I need to do it. And it will have a not safe for work finale. My favorite season, it's like fall, winter, it's a tie. Like, listen, I'm gonna shoot straight with you. I'm a big old boy, and my fashion is way better when I get to wear layers or, you know, style things that involve like long sleeves and shit. Which sucks because Texas has like maybe a couple of weeks where I get to do that. But I love colder weather. I love colder weather, so let's see. Noi X or Noish. I always want to say Noish. Hope you're having a good week so far. My question is, what is something you find hard about the story writing process? Making up lore or focusing on character development, etc. Hope you have a good night. For me, here's my deal. I don't like going super in depth with the world building. I'm very I take like a Studio Ghibli approach to world building, where it's like, it's mostly vibes. Like, you don't need to know why the fucking forest god exists or whatever, or why it's a deer or why its face is like that. It just is. A lot of things just are. Not everything has to be like nailed down to the floor scientifically, like makes sense. So I basically just remove myself from ever running into that issue. Which like isn't to say that it's bad. It is to say that I'm not organized enough. I'm not built for that. And I used to every time I would try to write something, I was convinced that it had to be like that. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Hey, bro, guess what? You can be successful never explaining a fucking thing. People get millions of views on just random fics they write about two characters people like that touch each other's butts. It doesn't have to be that deep. And finally, I let go of that. Because, like, I was really guilty of coming up with a big, massive story that has, like, a ton of branching things, and the roots go really deep. And you know what happens? It just bores me. It bores me. And it doesn't, you know, when I finally start to write, I'm like, I'm already tired of it. So I definitely think, for me, the more character-centric storytelling, because the rest, what I do is a lot of things accidentally take shape for me. I've been very lucky kind of building things that way, where it's like, oh, hey, these dots connect, and I didn't even realize that they connect like that. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I think the most of that I'll be doing will be in Echoes of Everlast, because, you know, it's a fantasy world where, you know, there's magic, there's other stuff, etc. There's a Auto Nerd, there's a difference between lore and making an entire like magic system that has logic and reasons why it works and like rules and everything. That's not lore. That's world building. Lore is like the mythos. It's the history. That's still fun to me. Thank you, Daddy, for the $2. I appreciate that. I'll go get some bubblegum with it. Poppy. Yeah. Y'all act like I would give a damn about saying daddy. Please. Here. And just because, like, no one has to go change a username or send money or anything. Thank you for the imaginary $2, mommy. I appreciate that. But yeah, for me, like, there is a way to do all of that. You can imply so much, because like a lot of people get turned off by super specific like techno jargon, etc. and whatever, because it's like, oh, I have to learn all of this to understand what's happening. It's like, we don't have to do that. Sparkle asks, what do you do to write your characters' personalities to make them distinctive from each other? Honestly, it's just finding like a few core traits that help build the skeleton. You know, sometimes like I have a lot of habits, and like the fact that there's so many characters, like there's always going to be a little overlap. And I just live with it. So yeah, I just kind of find like a few core things that make them them, and I build from there, really. Anime Ayla asked, are you doing any projects with Alphonse recently? Love your channel, by the way. So while he's not like actively getting content that's coming soon, like Bittersweet Chapter 4 has been rattling around in my head, to the point where like I can outline it now. So he's there. He's never too far off. Also, his birthday is next month, so that's gonna be a thing. Also, whole other thing, guys, I don't know what to do for the YuuriVoice anniversary. It's gonna be 8. Is it 7 or 8 years? 7. 7? 8. 7. 7. Yeah, that's like 2 weeks from now. Yeah, I gotta figure it out. I don't know, but yeah. So that's something that I'm also currently thinking of. Nolanda Davis asked about getting an audio where we braid the character's hair. Yeah, I would love it. I just have to do it. Teachy Lizzie asked, what's your favorite part about the spooky series? Good question. I just think, you know what, I and this is more of an abstract answer than anything fun, but I like that I'm challenging myself to get this all done and do it. That's actually what I'm enjoying, because it's like my brain has been in neutral for a while, and now I'm doing the shit. Like I'm booting up and kicking shit into gear, and I'm very excited to do it. And I, like, yesterday I wrote 3 scripts really easy. Like, it's not that difficult. Also, I saw this in the chat. I think Andy asked about if these series were gonna have not safe for work parts. Probably. Probably so. They're not like entirely cooked into it yet, but yeah. So my plan is like they'll just be extra Patreon audios that come out. So yeah, there will be spice. Even if it's not like directly plot, it'll be something involving the AU getting lit. Kelly asked, would you ever want to do a meet and greet with your fans, or like a meetup? I just want to say you spelled meat as in like a steak. I would not be doing a meet and greet, but meeting folks. I've gone to conventions and I've met people at conventions, and it's cool. I would never do like, oh hey, I'm doing a thing specifically for meeting people. But yeah, whenever I'm at a con, and especially if I'm doing panels and stuff, is a great time to do that. And I have met people, and it's been really nice. How would Alphonse react to Werewolf Seth? Asked Faith. He would roast him. He would just roast the shit out of him. Anarchismo with the $20 super chat says Greaser Seth in the background is muy bueno. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure he would appreciate that. As do I. Eagle asked, why is Charlie a Yandere and Seth isn't? Because Seth is a werewolf. Charlie is a Yandere. Because if I just did 3 different characters who are all Yandere, that'd be pretty fucking boring. Aw, Jared Lacey, thank you. Jared said, thank you so much for Alphonse and Charlie, 2 remarkably contrasting characters that have been thoroughly enjoyable. The adventure has been a phenomenal ride. That is so nice. Thank you. That makes me feel really great. Well, see, the thing is like, I didn't intend... So, Nerd Charlie existed before I made him a Yandere as well. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with him. Because it's like, okay, are they in like a slasher scenario or something? And like, while it would be cool to do a big ensemble, like murder mystery story with a lot of characters in a whole AU, it's not really fun to only be paired with the one character if that's what you're gonna do, because doing the bigger version would be way cooler. So I didn't want to just do that. So yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of when I started to piece it together, where it's like, oh, he's the listener's tutor, and he's really like into them, and then it just became a thing. Hex with the $2 says, I'm dying at Greaser Werewolf Seth wearing a dog tag. Yeah, that was all Jackie. That wasn't my idea. I didn't even realize it until somebody said something. Let's see. Zoe asked, will we ever find out what happened with Oron's mother? Also hope the ADHD thing is getting better. Yeah, his mom will play a part in things at some point. She's fine. If that helps. Like, she's doing fine. She's good. Let's see. Oh, and the ADHD thing is going. I'm medicated. I meet with my psychiatrist tomorrow to talk about my current results and see what else we got going on. Yeah, this isn't a reveal. No. In the fucking audio where Auron and Faust are arguing, he says that mom has been trying to get a hold of Faust and says something to the effect of like, one of us should be in her life. Yeah, so she's alive, and apparently has tried to reach out to Faust, but Faust, I thought she was sick. Do Auron and her talk? I think my last comment just answered that. I thought she died. No? I don't think so. The father who run the company is dead. He's the dead one. I don't know. Sugar asked, what is your personal favorite AU? That's a good question. I don't have one, really. Bunny Finn is a lot of fun. I mean, those are kind of selfish reasons. Like, Bunny Finn can get wrecked. This is a great question. Otter Nerd asked, is Lucian ever going to get more lore, or will his series get more supernatural aspects? I've thought about it. That's all I really got. Right now, I enjoy that. I think for me, the appeal is like the slice of life aspect, because it's like a ridiculous kind of situation where a big red demon fucker showed up and was eating their food, and now he's like their roommate slash like live-in boyfriend. I did have an idea. I did have an idea about an additional character in his story that I could make. I did have an idea, and it relates to how he gets spending money. And it would be a supernatural character that is related to that. But that's a whole... There's so much else to do. There's so much else to do. There's a lot of other shit I have to do. So... That's all. Yeah, and for the chat who asked if there's gonna be Finn, there will be a Yandere Finn this month. Regular Finn, I don't know when. There's always more Finn, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Will Seth have werewolf art for when he turns or no? Yes, he will. He certainly will. Every character has alternate art. So Charlie has like an unhinged Yandere version. Seth has a werewolf version. And Auron just has a really... did I say Alphonse or Auron? Auron has a really horny version. There is no Alphonse this month. Unless something radical happens. This also kind of answers the next question from Jade that was like, just curious because I'm late, why isn't Alphonse in this? Because I didn't like the ideas I had for him as much as I did for these guys for now. Yeah. The unhinged Charlie is fucking fantastic. Like, Jackie got a little stylized with it. It's just good. It's really good. It's really good. So I'm very, very excited. Who's on my foot? It's Cootie and Haru. Will you be watching the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? So, fun fact, I don't love... The only reason I actually really dislike Five Nights at Freddy's is because jump scares I don't fuck with jump scare stuff. The movie actually looks decent. So maybe I might, just because I could, if I wanted to. Let's see. I answered that. Each AU gets 3 audios. Probably Patreon stuff too. Oh shit. Jackie would probably be able to answer this way more effectively than I can. Tenant Balls asked, I've been really getting super into Hosier's music, and if you listen to his music, I was wondering if you had to pick a song for each of the YuuriVoice boys, what would they be? Also, how's your day been? Hope you've been having a good day and week. My week has been great. I've been a cranky little bitch today, to be fair. The only song that I can think of off the top of my head is I like Francesca for Auron and Rook. Jackie got to see him live and basically ascended. That's like her, that's her boy. Faith asked if Yandere Finn and Yandere Charlie were after the same person, would they fight over them or call a truce to share them? Finn would kill Charlie. He would murder him. Slum the Chum says, hope you've been having a good week. I've been a Patreon supporter since 2017. Just wanted you to know I love you and your work. Local Charlie Simp. Thank you. TT Lizzie asked, I have a question about Charlie. What type of Yandere is he going to be? That's hard because, like, that's a very broad question. So for me, I will just say, like, stalker, jealous, and gentle to listener, probably not so gentle to anyone that's in the way. Sort of like, I think the better way to put it is, usually with Yandere Finn, he's Yandere out the gate. Like, that's just what you get. Whereas, like, Charlie it can be, you know, just a little guy. And then there's a thing that makes him comfortable showing some of his feelings to the listener. So that's how they connect. I will say the thing that gets his foot in the door is that they have a shared interest for dark romantic fiction. Bella asks, would Vampire Auron live in like a gothic Victorian house? So I just say it's a manor, but yeah, essentially yes, that. Michaela asks, will you continue Seth and Auron's AUs next year? Maybe with a sprinkle of other stuff with other characters next year? Yeah, so that's my big plan, is like in the next, you know, next time spooky season comes around, like these guys might return, but we can introduce some more and, you know, so on. That's what I'm hoping for. Hex asks, can Greaser Seth bully us for fun? Yeah. I mean he will be bullying a bit. I think because I'm so touchy about the bully trope in this medium, I think what I do to make it work for me is like, I have my hard lines that I won't cross. Because for me, you know what, I'll get into that later, but I have my hard lines that I won't cross. And then, excuse me, making it clear, or at least subtly hinting at that the listener enjoys his attitude, which is actually responsible for one of the times where he calls them weird, because like he doesn't understand it. He's trying to be a dick to push them away, and they are kind of like, you know, tuck their hair behind their ear response to that. So that way, like, okay, yeah, he can be a prick, but the listener likes it, you know? Because that's my thing, is like, if there was content that's just mean, and it's just mean, and then it's like, oh, by the way, like, we end up liking each other eventually. I don't love it. So that's where I'm at. Can he do it because he knows they like it? Oh yeah, the goal is to get to that, right? Let's see. Rach asked a really deep question. So Rach asked, how has your vision for the channel and your brand evolved as you've grown and owned your craft as a creator? Man, it's changed a lot. You know, I'm always torn with, like, I really, really love the story-based story-based content. And it's always kind of like walking a fine line, trying to appease YouTube and the algorithm and recommendations and shit with, you know, my creative fulfillment. And that's always been the issue, you know? Because a lot of, especially in like this niche, if you just kind of pander to doing, you know, the big tropes that work and you know, including certain words in your titles and thumbnails and somehow getting away with it, even though like other times you get slapped on the wrist. When I've been ever since the channel got monetized, it's like there's some content that they'll be like, oh, limited ads, and it's like a completely wholesome, like, not even, doesn't have a, like, it's just a regular audio, like Charlie's birthday audio. I mean, that was a little spicy, but it was like not, it wasn't like that spicy. And it wasn't for the weed references. Meanwhile, there's other ones that are like censoring stuff in their like thumbnails, and it's obviously like a dirty word. Yeah, I don't know. So it's hard to put to words like how I've adapted to my own like creative needs and, you know, growing the channel and shit still. I don't know. I don't really know how the vision has. There's a few things that I'm working on stuff I can't share. But, you know. What are you doing, little Stain? Hi, honey. If at any point I have a stream that gets like cut off, it's because the baby walked on top of a fucking power outlet and unplugged it. Get out of there. Hey, have you been chewing on this? Get down. Hey, get down. Go on. Go. Hey, get down. Get out of there. Go. Oh, man. These cats. What else do we got? Starlight Blue asked if any of the characters in the spooky AU have met each other. No, it's not that kind of party. And the music is from what is this? Game Chop's YouTube channel. Go Mochi. Valerie asked if we're ever gonna get an I love you out of Auron. Yeah, at some point. Shattered is gonna be awesome. Everything I have planned around that, I can say this. So Shattered, I've talked about, it's a kind of like it's a continuation of Auron's story, from the point of the end of Bittersweet chapter 3. And it is a little bit psychological horror. We deal with the fallout of him finding that little journal and all the things that comes with. But essentially, like, Shattered is the story of it's a man who feels like he has to have control. And I don't mean that in the sexy dominant way, although that is a way that it manifests for him. He has to control the variables. He has to know what's happening. He has to know who's in control, who's doing what, why things are happening. He feels secure when he is in control. Thus, the control is very important to him. And that's also a very personal story for me too, because that's, I think, one of my big things is that I can be someone who has to have control like that. Yeah. And the thing is like, what happens when he loses that and doesn't understand why? But there's also a whole other aspect that's going to be happening that I can't talk about. But I think that when it's all said and done, Shattered and things that are related to it is going to be the best love story I've ever done in a traditional, I love Bittersweet for how it covers love as a broad concept and the ways that love can manifest. But this is a very straightforward. This is about a very deep romantic love that goes very deep. So yeah, I think in its totality as its own thing, it will be my favorite romantic thing that I've made. Yes, it's still with Rookie. I'm not. It's still Rook. We've invested a little too much into. So Rook is going to play a role in Shattered. I mean, yeah. They are a pretty big part of his life, and were around during the events that occurred. So it's their story, yeah. So all that was from a question that was like, is Auron ever gonna say I love you? I think Auron's going to say so much more than that. Like, I think I love you doesn't compare to what we'll get. So is Faust and his listener going to play a big part in this too? I don't know to what extent. I think maybe that side of things might be a little bit post shattered. But I have to sit and write and find out to know for sure. Any timeline for Jack videos? That's a great question. It would probably be like November when his series debuts. Hey, get out. The cats have really taken to laying on the top of the computer. And they've been gnawing on a USB extender's cord. Will you be taking a break after spooky season? I don't think so. Will we still get the usual Auron content, like continuing what we have now? The Auron Shattered is the continuation of that. It's just more of it. Like there's aspects from the broader story, but like the things that have been occurring with Auron and Rook are canon to that. So yes, his relationship with Faust is definitely more contentious. But it is the same relationship. Yeah. Let's see. But no break after spooky season. I've already been I've been on break, so I've got to get my shit together. What cost? Oh, Alice asked what question I'm gonna wear to the party. I didn't think about that. I don't know. That was forever ago, but I didn't actually think about that part. Lady Day asked, sorry for back-to-back questions. But which of the boys do you think would fit into the mad scientist trope? Finn. Definitely Finn. Fern asks, would Charlie's story take place in college or high school? College, for obvious reasons. Doxadoo asked, did you make Auron a vampire because of the car ride audio, with the listener saying it would be a plus? Listen, Vampire Auron has been a good idea for a very long time, you know? Rach, another banger of a question. Rach has that shit. Rach got the sauce. Do you find that ideas or scripts for AU series and one-shots come more easily than your typical scripts, or is it usually a stroke of inspiration that basically writes itself? I think my usual stuff is easier because of the familiarity I have. So I'll tell you how long it took me to write these first 3 scripts. So I did the first episode of each of the AUs yesterday, and I started at a little after 10. And at like a little after 1, I had finished 1.5. Bear in mind, my scripts usually range from like 750 words to, 1,000. Then if they go long, then it's a really big audio. But that's usually the sweet spot to get to 10 minutes, and that's what I'm comfortable with. That's just the way that I've fallen into doing things, and I like it that way. So it took me that long to do 1.5 basically, and then I picked back up at like 3, and then I was done before 5 on finishing up to the 3rd. And that's long for me. That's definitely not as fast as I would like, but there's a few things at play there where like I haven't sat down to write a bunch in a while. Definitely not like full scripts. It's been a while since I did it myself and hammered it out. So knocking off the rust, but also like I only had vague ideas. I didn't know like what the real progression of things would be, or super clear ideas of what happens in each script. So a lot of the actual thinking has to happen while I'm writing, which isn't usually what I like. Whereas a good example is like Bittersweet. I can tell you right now, if I sat down to write chapter 4 of Bittersweet, I could get done. I would mow through it, because like I'm so tightly woven with those characters in that story. I can write a conversation between Seth and Sugar, Alphonse Boo. Like I can do that so easy. So, I think normally I prefer stuff that has the characters I'm super tight with. But like if I have a really clear idea for a one-shot or an AU, then, then that's easy. Like I've had times where I'm in a mood and I have an idea and I just spit it out onto the page, and it's very quick. But normally, like, I like sinking my teeth into it a bit more. Let's see what else we got. Is there a specific date for when Echoes of Everlast releases, or is there ever going? Well, I would hope there would eventually be a specific release date. I don't have one right now. Right now, my big work focus is on spooky season. But my hope is that we have the biggest month the channel has ever had, thanks to spooky season. and then we roll right into good shit in November. I don't know what shit that's gonna be, but that's what I'm aiming for. I also don't know about chapter 4 Bittersweet. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when, really. We're almost to the end. How do you come up with names for your characters? I just suffer. I hate naming characters. It's not my forte. What the fuck? Asked, where do you draw the line between inspiration and imitation? That's a good question. I try to not, you know, I have a few things that I do. I limit, like, I don't look at what other people in my field are doing. I don't want to know. I don't want to, that's just for not only, like, not letting imposter syndrome happen, which can absolutely happen, but also, like, I don't want to subconsciously be influenced, which totally happens. Like, everyone has media that has inspired them, whether they realize it or not, all that sort of thing. I think for me, a lot of what I would say inspired me and has, like, played a part, inspired in a more abstract sense, right? So I'm trying to think. So, like, here's a great example, right? One of my favorite series ever is Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. They're excellent. And I am inspired by the storytelling, the characters and everything. But you wouldn't look at much of my work and say, oh, this is Breaking Bad, you know? Like, if you looked at especially like chapter 3 of Bittersweet, you don't go, oh, he's doing Breaking Bad. But there's definitely little aspects. Like, Charlie's got a little Jesse Pinkman going on. You know, Auron, he's not Gus Fring, but he's got a little bit of that. So I think it's just knowing. Now, let me also say, so saying all of that, let me tell you about when I was a little kid. Let me tell you about when I was a little baby creative. I literally just stole the characters and plugged them into my daydreams and made them my own. Like, they were the worst characterization of these characters ever because they were not that character. They just were the skeleton of that character. So, I think what you need to do, especially if we're just talking about fun, like, are you just being creative? Are you just doing that? That's fine. That's fine. And I wouldn't be the creator and creative I am now if I didn't do that. Because that was such a big part for me. You guys, when I have a very like formative, like key memory. So I traveled a lot when I was young. Parents divorced, live across the country, have to take a plane. It was pre 9/11, so like a child just traveling on a plane alone was like super normal, actually. Never got like an escort. I just had to do it myself. Excuse me. Hiccups. I was on an airplane, and it's the reason why taking off and landing are two of my favorite parts, because it's so dramatic. And I had played Final Fantasy VIII. There's a ship called the Ragnarok, and I really loved Squall. I really loved all those characters, and I had like adapted some of that for my own purposes. And I also had the like piano version of the soundtrack, which is goated, by the way. And I was on the plane with my mom this time. And I remember like the seatbelt lights came on. They're like, oh, we're about to land. And my mom's trying to talk to me. I was like, hey, I basically told her like, hey, I'm putting my headphones on. I don't remember how I phrased it, but essentially told her like, this is the good part. And put my little headphones on, listened to my little Walkman, and had a whole big scene play out as the plane landed. And I remember it. I remember it fondly. I basically told my mom like, hey, I have to go to Fantasyland. Bye. Mochi, get down. Go on. So, where to draw the line between inspiration and imitation? I think the goal is to build yourself up to the point where you're fully capable of taking off on your own. Yeah. I needed to go to my mind palace, man. I'm being epic in my imagination. Yes, exactly. Oh. Let's see. Doxadoo asks, first stream, hope you're not as well. I wanted to ask if there are any scrapped ideas you might bring back at some point. That's a good question. I mean, technically, like, Jack, he's getting rebooted. He's getting his whole own thing, like... Not that he was ever scrapped. I just kind of, like, moved on, you know? So that's a big one. I think it's safe to say you might run into Ulrich again at some point, who was the OG werewolf. Yeah. Bella asked, how did Auron get into the whole mob thing? He inherited it. Noi asked, completely random. A while back, I remember you doing Pokemon pack openings Would you ever do that again? And also, did you get the Raihan chase card you wanted? Was it just his full art trainer card? Because yes, I got multiple of him. He does have really cool... There were some other ones with his big skyscraper boy that I wanted, but I chilled. I have a whole lot of unopened stuff that I should open or just save at this point and sell them one day. Yeah, I'll do it again at some point. It's one of those things like it needs to be rare because otherwise people don't show up. But yeah. Carolina asks, is Auron and his listener ever going to be in a real relationship? Well, there's a lot to dig into there because calling something a real relationship implies that there's lesser or less valid relationships. And that's probably a thing that can be discussed at length, not tonight. You mean, and this has come up a lot, so I understand that like people like the idea of being explicitly told, hey, we are boyfriend and insert friend here, which is fair and valid. I don't necessarily think you need that in this particular case. So if you're asking like, hey, is there like dom sub I'm fucking my boss relationship going to evolve into we're an item, we're like really dating, and you know, it's a very serious relationship, like it is a safe bet that relationships will evolve over time. And the rest is a spoiler, but you know. Fishy asks, is Seth a Twilight werewolf or like a big furry man werewolf? He is a big furry man werewolf because it's a lot more not strange to fuck a big furry man versus just a big wolf, because that looks a lot like nasty. No, he's a big furry guy who has a leather jacket that he rips through. Let's see. Soup asks, anything holiday related coming up in the coming months? Please, I need to know. I mean, yeah. I know you mean other holiday. Mochi, hey, no, get out of there. What do you think you're doing? Sir, no. He's trying to like go behind the screens. I'll come up with something. But also I'm laughing because it's literally a holiday. It's a Halloween series announcement stream. Oh. How did the idea of Seth being a werewolf come to mind? He just looks like a good candidate. You ever look at a fictional man and be like, oh man, you should be big and furry and have a giant sense of humor. I know what you mean, Soup. I'm just giggling. Yeah, no, we've always done a little something. Angel Talks asked if I've seen any of the new Castlevania. I have not yet. I want to. I just haven't jumped on it. I think for me, I didn't love season 3 of Castlevania, and while I am really optimistic for Nocturne and everything, you know, I don't feel the rush to go watch it right now. It looks very pretty. Not Rach asked, do you ever consider doing more of the in-character ringtone packs like Al got from the Extra Life stream? Yeah, I've thought about doing different ways to do that. And even doing character art for wallpapers. Yeah, I've considered. My brain is just smooth. Slum of the Chum asked about doing more Guzma content. Man, you know, I love Guzma. It's a good time. I just have so much else going on that's going well. Yeah, I just, you know, it's cool, but there's so much else I need to do that's doing well. You know, good, as much as I love Guzma, in terms of like general interest, the general interest I don't think is really there. So, you know. Mace Light asked if there's gonna be spicy content for the Halloween boys. Yeah, there will be. There will be some things. Get your questions in if you have any more. Cootie. Cootie. Boop, 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 boop. Oh man. I need some water. Sarah D asked, are you getting concerned at all with how many VAs are getting banned on YouTube recently? Not really. My ass is pretty covered, honestly. Like, I've got no strikes. I'm in good standing. You know, I feel I'm good. I'm chilling. Will you do a compilation with the spicy stuff included? Like on YouTube? But no. You're asking me if I'll put porn on YouTube? That sounds like a bad idea. But to be fair, YouTube is dumb. And I'm never too comfortable here. So while I'm not worried, I'm not like tripping, but you know, there's always a level of risk being a creator on YouTube, you know? So Saturday asked, were there any people or creators that you feel were instrumental to your craft, or any big moments of inspiration you experienced that you want to share? People or creators that were instrumental to my craft. You know, I'm gonna speak candidly, and like I'm just shooting from the hip. I've been the type of person who I don't look up to many people. I don't know if it's, and it's not always necessarily because like, oh, I've had people I looked up to that turned out to be shitty. That's not really true. While like it's happened, it wasn't ever like someone I had put on a pedestal or thought like they were instrumental in me becoming who I am. I'm not big on I don't know. In a lot of ways, I wish I did have like, I don't know, not mentors, but like, I wish I did kind of have that, like someone or like various people I kind of look at and like, oh man, that's the standard or something in terms of like creating online or whatever. But I don't really that have played like an instrumental role in things. I will always say that I've got a ton of love for Cardlin Audio, because he really was instrumental in me getting my footing in terms of doing the YouTube side of things, and gave me a big shot in a Christmas collaboration many years ago. So that's my guy forever and for always. But you know, I always, you know, it was a peer kind of relationship. Even though he's like the big dog, it never felt like, you know, there's a difference between like respecting a peer and having like a you know, someone who's like a big instrumental to your craft, like, oh, I create because this person inspired me. Never really ran into that. I mean, honestly, for me, like my biggest influence, I think, that has played a part in the way that I tell stories and stuff is actually like my dad. My dad, I always admired him for the way he would tell stories, the way he would recount things from his life and make it just horribly entertaining. Certainly embellished a great many things, but there was never a dull moment. And I think I took a big part of that from our relationship. And just loving that humor and the way that he's able to, you know, tell a story, which is very different from the way that I tell stories in this medium. But I think it played a big part. Big moments of inspiration I experienced lately. Honestly, what's been rattling around in my head a lot is a whole unrelated thing about a D&D character that literally doesn't exist. Like, he's not being used for anything. He doesn't have a name or anything, but I know who he is to me. And I think about him a lot. And, one day, you know who it is, Jackie. So I think about that. I wouldn't say there's been anything that's... You know what's inspired me? You know what has inspired me lately? Is media not living up to my expectations. I'm not gonna name a specific series or anything because people might want to spoil it. But I've had stuff where, like, it's good, but it's good, but if they would have had a motherfucker like me there to cook, it could have been great. Not to pat myself on the fucking back, but I don't know what some of these writers are thinking. I don't know if there's budget limitations or whatever, but I have been fucking blueballed by a lot of things that are so close to being great. And it's just good because I don't know. So if anything's inspired me, it's inspired me to fucking cook. These motherfuckers were not cooking. They served up some fucking Panda Express. Yeah, no, so like, I just want you guys to know that, like, and Bittersweet Chapter 3 is a good example. There were parts of Bittersweet Chapter 3 where I fucking ate. And I am confident enough and happy enough with the results to say it. Like, the Seth and Alphonse Starry Night episode was magical. The fucking part in episode 2 at the train tracks. A lot of stuff. Conversations with Jesse and Boo. I really got somewhere with that, and I think it really bolstered my confidence to fucking, like, okay, you guys might not understand the slang, but it's the phrase that came to mind. It just bolstered my confidence to let my fucking nuts hang when it comes to being a creative. Hey, what are y'all doing? Don't do that. Yeah. Sorry, the cat. It is a phrase. No, sometimes you gotta let your fucking nuts hang. For real. So, like, it's just, bro, it resonates with me. Like, it makes sense to me, man. Oh. Oh man, there were more questions. I got so lost. What's your favorite liquor or alcoholic beverage? I enjoy a good Crown Vanilla and Coke, or a cherry Coke. Drea got Sweet Pete's shirt yesterday, and it's so soft. Gotta be the favorite merch from the shop. I'm so glad. I feel my brain turning to mush. Sorry. Space Prince asked, is Auron gonna have any major vampy powers? So like, yeah, I would say so. I mean, the entire I can say this. The entire first episode is the hunter kind of breaking out of an illusion that he's got them trapped in his manor. So yeah, I would say he's got like very powerful shit going on. When's the Snapped Bones asked, when's the next video including Seth? Not sure if this question had already been asked, but I have just joined, so I'm sorry if so. Well, the spooky season, Greaser Seth, starts next week, so very soon. Soup asked, at what point in your life / YouTube career did you think about seeing the platform as an outlet for your creativity? I mean, so before YuuriVoice, I had tried various different creative ventures on YouTube. You know, I'm kind of a YouTube kid. Like, YouTube blew up when I was you know, in my teens. So seeing it go from like shitpost central to like now like a whole thing, it was cool, and I wanted to dabble. You know, I was a theater kid, so like I had cameras and shit. So yeah, bro, to the point where like me and my friends had the idea for like making Let's Plays before Let's Plays existed. All based on me and the homies were playing Twilight Princess, and I promise you, it was like the funniest video game experience ever with our commentary. Just like multiple times laughing ourselves to tears as we played through, like passing the controller. And we were like, man, wouldn't it have been great if we had like recorded all of this? So throughout my life, I've had like YouTube ideas, and I've tried a few things. So, you know, it's hard to say like when did I look at that as an outlet for creativity, because like it would have been, you know, would have been a long time ago, really. And this just happened to be the thing that worked for me, which is funny because I never would have, you know, suspected that. Go on, get down, go. Eden said, I'm recently trying to get into writing. Do you have any advice and or sources on how to practice doing that kind of thing? Holy shit. The short answer is no, because like I just sort of, I can give you the correct advice. The correct advice is to read. Reading and learning by seeing what works for other writers, and then writing is what most people would tell you to do. Now here's what I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you like the quick and dirty version of like, we're not gonna listen to published authors or whatever the fuck they're doing over there. I'm gonna tell you how a layman would do it. Just a regular ass bumpkin like me would practice writing. Find a prompt list. Tumblr's great for that. It'll be like numbers and they're short little sentence prompts for writing blurbs or little ficklets or whatever. And I'd pick out a few that spark your imagination, and you know, figure out like what characters, what do you want to do with that? Do you want it to be your own OCs? Do you want it to be other characters from whatever you're into? And just write a paragraph. Like just write whatever you feel like. Like I wouldn't start with and this sucks for me still today, someone who has written prose, who has written scripts, written everything. Writing dialogue in like prose is so I'm very bad. I always fuck up the rules. It's messy. I have to try very hard. But sometimes you can just write vibes. Oh, see, that would be great, Eden. Doing journal entries based on like the events, and it's their thoughts of. That's lit. That would be good. And that's like, you get to write in like the first person, and it's very, that's a great way to like, you do the legwork and you get the practice. Kaylee the Pokemon Master asked, was Seth an accident? I mean, as in Jesse and Derek didn't mean to have him. I feel like we've answered this a few times. Derek is not his dad. His dad owns the bar in the town that Alphonse lives in. Derek is someone that Jesse ran off with after she split from his dad. It's fairly clear, actually. There's an entire bit about Seth's dad being an alcoholic in chapter 2. Like, there's a whole thing about that. It's okay. It's okay. You're not the first who ever thought that. Does dad have a name? No, but you know what? I cried in my car the other day because I thought about doing an actual scene with Seth and his dad in Bittersweet. Because I've said, like, hey, he doesn't need to be a character. He can just be a guy. We never have to deal with that. And then I was like, but what if we did? And then I thought about all the trauma I could deal with of mine, because my father never got to apologize to me. So what if I wrote a father apologizing to his son who's vaguely parts of me shaped? And I know who I would ask to voice the dad. So yeah, I was like, well, if I'm crying about the mere thought, it's probably worth doing. It's probably worth doing, because I would eat. Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, Bittersweet Chapter 4 is gonna be it's a lot of dealing with things. Because like Alphonse is faced with like a lot. It's fun because Seth is like in a better place. Like, while the stuff with Jesse was heavy, I think he's in a spot where he feels relieved that it's over. Whereas Alphonse, I think Alphonse was faced with a lot of stuff. I always think about episode 2 in chapter 3, where you know, Alphonse is like, hey, if I knew one of my parents could be saved, and the only thing standing between me and them was a bunch of fucking assholes and some greasy prick, I'd gut them all like fishes. I think that feeling kind of, I think it tapped into something with Alphonse, where I think in the fallout of chapter 3, I think Alphonse realizes he has some like unresolved grief that he's been sleeping on. Yeah. So when I say that I've got chapter 4 cooked up, I just need to put pen to paper. I really do. Yeah, I just think the thing about Seth's dad, I liked him not being a character, but it would be very cathartic to have, you know, we showed Jesse, who I would argue tried to apologize in the worst ways possible. I think it would be cool to show what someone worthy of forgiveness, who's done the work and is genuinely bettering themselves just because, and not because they expect you to let them back in or any of that. I think it would be healthy to show what that would look like. Yeah. Thank you, Kari. Have a good night. But yeah, so didn't think I was gonna tip my hand about some of the Bittersweet chapter 4 stuff, but yeah, I think we'll be exploring like how much Boo really trusts Seth too, because like, you know, we find that Alphonse is kind of distant and something's not quite right or like it was before, and you know, Boo trusts Seth to help figure it out and try to get Alphonse to open up a bit. So, yeah, I think it'll be great. I love Bittersweet. I love Bittersweet so much. Like, it's so funny because some people want Bittersweet to be put in a box, or be like strictly about the three of them are in deep romantic love and they're all happy and they fuck each other and that's the story. And it's like, I love the three of them loving each other. There's a whole lot more going on than that, though. There's a lot more going on than that, and it's like really personal to me and really special. So, I mean, I feel like we still get the angst. It's just not in the most predictable, boring way. Yeah, is there anything about Bittersweet I should say? I'm going to tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. The one thing that I'll share is that I have already recorded something for it. And it's something. It's something. That's all I can say. But yeah, I've recorded something for it before a lot of other things, actually. But yeah. I recorded something. But yeah, and you know, I talked about how my big goal is to get back to the slice of life-y nature of Bittersweet. Like, I personally love fantastical realism or like urban fantasy where real life but also fantastical elements. I love that. Not everybody. One, Bittersweet was not clearly going to be that in the beginning, so you've signed up for one thing, but it may be something else, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, whatever. That doesn't really matter to me because I always intended for like the trio to go back to mostly normal, you know. Now, that's not to say that stuff that occurred in chapter 3 won't have bearing on things that happen in the future, but like, I'm going to put Bittersweet in a spot where if you don't like that, it has a satisfying something vaguely resembling a conclusion, but you know, a point. Yeah. Is storyteller Finn going to make more appearances in Bittersweet? Finn's hands are full, and that's about all I can say. Finn is otherwise preoccupied. Would Bittersweet possibly resume in 2024? In a perfect world, it could resume sooner, but like, I don't want to put any kind of date on stuff. It definitely would happen in 2024, if not sooner. Like, it's not gonna be a lot. Is there gonna be more Bunny Finn? Yes. Let me finish these questions and then we can rock. Ocean Lu asked, would the Oron audio take place in the past, like the 1500s, or somewhat in the future? Okay, so my thought is that it's definitely like not modern, but I don't think there's any part of it that's going to matter. Like there's not I don't think it's gonna come up, basically. But I'm definitely thinking not modern. Fern asked, how do you think Jack and Auron would interact? Man, I don't know. Like, I don't know that they would. I can't think of a situation in which they would, and if so, like Auron would, like, I don't know, treat him with indifference. Anastasia said, hi Yuri, I made a Vine compilation with your characters, but I deleted it. Should I make another one? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to meme the shit out of my stuff, do it. Like, I know Eden's made like a Vine compilation with YuuriVoice references. That shit's hilarious. Like, you are more than welcome to meme my shit. That's all fine with me. Is this superstitious? It is. Huh. Okay. Octo Chibi asked, for the Auron Vampire AU, is the listener gonna be the same person as Rook, but just in this AU? That's up to y'all. Like, for me, in the AUs, it's like, it should be open-ended, because, like, these, a lot of new listeners are gonna find this. So, like, if I made a bunch of references to, like, canonical stuff, that's too much. So no, they're their own thing. If you wanted to imagine that it is Rook, but in this AU, that's cool with me. Same with like Casper, same with Sugar. That's cool with me, but like I'm not making it a big deal. And then are Charlie and Seth's new stories modern? I would say yeah. Charlie, you could imagine like it's 80s, 90s setting, but like it doesn't really change anything. Yeah. A vaguely dusty shaped object asks, were you surprised at all about the way in which Bittersweet developed over the course of the story? I mean, yeah. Hey, who is... Get out of here. Go. No. Get down. What are you doing? I swear these cats are trying to kill me. I mean, yeah. Outside of the, like, it was just gonna, like, Seth was just gonna be a rival, blah, 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 blah. In the broader sense of, like, I didn't know it was gonna be a series like that. I didn't know there was gonna be huge chunks of it. I didn't know we were gonna go so hard on the, like, visuals. Yeah, I would say that surprised me. I I mean, the whole thing has been really surprising to me. You know, a lot of it has been, you know, I've realized things and discovered things about the story as I've gone. So much that, like, I just sort of rock with it. And like, I don't know. I think what's really cool is that I've seen a lot of other audio creators get way more into doing big story-based stuff. Now, because I don't look around and I don't like keep tabs on shit, I don't know if other people were already doing that or what, or when that all became a thing. But knowing that, like, hey, it's actually really, it's a whole thing where people have big sprawling stories that have interconnections and multiple characters and stuff. It's cool that, like, that's a thing. And I don't know if I played a part in that or inspired anyone, but if I did, that's really cool. If not, that is also cool. I think a lot of creators saw the value in, like, hey, I can do more than just make smut. I can, like, tell stories and stuff. And really, like, use this as a avenue to do that. And I love that. That makes me really happy. Dax and the Dreamer asked, do you watch or listen to content about you? Very rarely. If it, like, comes across my wherever I am, you know, maybe, but, like, I don't know. People can also suck on the internet, so I'm always prone to, like, hey, even if we're in a room of 99 people and they're all cheering, but that one person's booing, that one person booing is actually pretty loud. So for my own, like, mental health, I try not to look, which sucks, because, like, I do love, there's so many creative people, there's so much good fan art, there's so many fun things people are doing, but just for my own sanity, I try not to, just because, and, like, you know, call me sensitive, call me thin-skinned, call me whatever. I think regardless, you know, people should always take measures that, like, hey, I know that I am susceptible to feeling negative and having bad interactions if I expose myself to stuff, so I shouldn't do that. So I try not to. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate stuff or I'm like distant. You know, I'm always happy when I find out that people are doing stuff, making things, sharing things. Yeah. Saturday says, Jackie produces banger after banger, but is there any piece in particular she's produced that you really liked a lot? Oh, man. I mean, yes is the answer. Trying to think of, like, what in particular springs to mind. You know what? I think if there was, like, a Hall of Fame for artwork she's made for the channel, that shot of Alphonse driving the car is really great. It is like really, really, really great. And like I'm biased because it looks really horny. It's a really horny shot of him. Oh man. You know, what else? Now I've just got Alphonse in my head. The dark mode boy toy alt fit is really great. Auron in the shower Auron's really good. The Auron with the red suit jacket goes really hard. It goes really, really hard. There is there's a Charlie thing that she just did that's really crispy. Like it's not she didn't reinvent the wheel, but it just is it's just a really great version of Charlie. I really like the Dead Derek one. Dead Derek is a good one. Dead Derek is a good one. Bunny Finn has gone crazy. There's a lot of incredible stuff. There's a Jackie Bones. Welcome to Dreamer. Howdy. I gotta get alerts. I need to turn the fucking alerts back on. Charlie, Jackie, can you send me the art of Blake and Howl? And it's just a sketch. Gifted 5 YuuriVoice memberships. Oh snap. Thank you for the gift memberships, Bones. Congratulations to Alex W, the name's Ms, My Darling, Butt Cheeks, and Anya. Thank you. That's a lot of dreamers. I should probably also say, you can see, for those of you who just became dreamers, if you go to the YouTube community posts, the 3 titles of the first episodes of the spooky season, I shared those working titles. They may change, but I did share the 3 titles and talked about what thoughts have gone into the way I name things and how I have to adapt to being a YouTube boy. Miji, don't do that. That's bad girl behavior. Haru, what are you doing? Miji, go get this little boy. How about that? Get him. Or get her. Fight! Oh my god, he jumped right on her. Perfect. Oh, man. Did Jackie send me it? The horny one with Demon Daddy Owl. Where he's sitting like a slut. 5 more of them. Holy shit. Yo, my time has come. Batsy, first off, Bones, thank you so much. Batsy, Daxon the Dreamer, Bing Bang, Bubblegum Gamer, and your Paperboy. Shout out. You guys now have you now have the emotes. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Bones. Look at all that green. I don't know why I don't have this artwork saved. So Jackie drew some D&D characters of ours, and some of you in the crowd may know about a boy named Howl. Howl has a lot of names. Owl the Bastard, Howl Thronebreaker. That's my favorite one, I think. Thronebreaker grows hard. Grows hard, goes hard. I have an affinity for sad boys who are warlocks. And Howl had a time, and Jackie drew some artwork of him. Farmer Howie. He'll never leave me alone, that Howl. He'll never leave me alone. It's okay if you can't find it, Jackie. It's probably somewhere in my butt. Oh my gosh, Barry with the $5 Aussie. I'm guessing that's Aussie dollars. Perhaps I'm biased, but any image of Auron goes hard. That man is gorgeous. Thank you. There it is. So, to say that when I have a D&D character, I get pretty obsessed. But nothing really compares. Nothing really compares to the relationship I've had with Howl. And Jackie drew this. Howl is the one in front. Oh god. That's large. Hold on. And it's not even a completed thing. And when I love him so much. He's my little criminal, my little war criminal. He is sitting like, yeah, he is. Oh, man. Me too, Rach. Me too. What subclass was your boy? He was the fiend patron. Yeah, my little war criminal. So Well. Oh, subclass. He was a fucking Pact of the Blade. Sorry, I've forgotten how to play the game. Pact of the Blade. He went through a lot of. He adjusted his class almost as much as he had outfit changes. But no, literal war criminal. Committed atrocities in the end. Murdered friends. This though, so he dies. So he's dead. Oh. Soog be knowing. My brain is smooth. Yeah, so he dies. But due to the sheer success of his war campaign and the amount of basically think of his situation with his demon daddy as like a high pressure sales position. He was able to, his conversion rate was through the roof. So he was rewarded by being a war general in hell. So this is war general arc Howie, who's got a lot going on. He was a mostly good boy at the end. Was Hal involved in some kind of pyramid multi-level marketing scheme? I mean, he was really high up on the pyramid. He was really high up on the pyramid, I guess. No, it's all very tragic. He just wanted to be a hero. And then he felt betrayed by everyone he loved. He was one pact away from not being okay, let's be honest. He did make a lot of deals. He did. There was a time where he betrayed his demon daddy for a Great Old One patron, without knowing that this particular Great Old One is literally a, like, universe-destroying entity that he is now bringing back to the world. And yeah, well, see, here's the thing. This is how you know that I was destined to play Warlocks. My thought was that we had just seen my demon daddy kind of like not have the power needed to protect my friends. Meanwhile, this Great Old One can literally like fuck his world and like cage him. So that's a lot of power, and I need power to protect my friends. So yeah, I'm gonna betray you, Demon Daddy, and I'm rolling with this guy. And then all the people that he did that to protect just blamed him for being stupid, for potentially causing the end of the world. And while they are sort of right, it really hurt. Eventually, we made up with the demon daddy. We got back with him. We did not have to deal with the Great Old One's rewriting of reality. And I wish I could say that all was forgiven, but it was always held against him, even though he had the best of intentions. So all he ever really knew about family was that family just shits on you and it's never enough, and they can say that they care, but their actions don't match their words, and then you fucking kill them. Not all of them, just the one that you looked at like a brother. So yeah, Howl is great. Howl is a Discord kitten with the gods. That is fair. He literally, yeah. Look, the Great Old One was gonna pay for my nitro. You won't even gift me anything on Steam. You won't even give me a Steam gift card, Daddy. Yeah. Do you want to share the sketch of that other character or not? No, I don't. I do, but I don't, Jackie, because you know what? I'm gonna pitch him as a character in the future. Because I really love him. And everything else is potentially spoilers, so I can't share. Anywho, for those of you who like Dungeons and Dragons, there may be a day in the future that I get to share some of my adventures with you again. I am not at liberty to say a whole lot more than that. Just know that I loved my time playing D&D for an audience, and it would be cool to do that again, perhaps. Yeah. Anywho, I have a really deep love for this character. Howl ended up he's a good boy. He's a good boy. My DM actually gave him one of my favorite tropes in all of media. And he didn't know that it was my favorite. So when my last run with Howl came to a close, it was very fitting. Howie BG3 run when? That was my first personal character I made. Miji, what are you doing? Yeah, I just man, I love Warlocks. It doesn't always have to be edgy either, but it just worked out for him. And the thing is that a lot of his, I did not intend for him to turn out like that, but can we know what happened to his parents one day? Yeah, I can tell you Yeah, so we, the public got to the point where Hal was about to confront his biological father. Yeah, so I'm actually kind of grateful that this was determined kind of out of game in the Fallout. We kind of just determined the direction it would have gone had we completed. Take care, Bones. Thank you again for the gift memberships, gift dreamers. Yeah, so his dad was a very bad man, and the family was bad too, like siblings, like his half siblings, like the entire, down to like young kids were like nightmare fuel for children. And you know, when we were discussing like, well, how would that have gone, and I'm like, well, I'll tell you how I would have wanted it to go. And like, if we were live doing it, I would have requested like a fade to black or something, because it's really intense. I was gonna have Hal kill them, all of them, even the kids. I was gonna have him fucking murder his entire bloodline. That's what I felt would have been the vibe. So I love that for him. I don't know if I would have loved that for a live audience. Yeah, even the kids. I knew how I was gonna do it too. So they're home. So they were elves. He's a half elf. The home. So his dad was like one of the like a head nobility leader, politician person in the in that country, and they had like this big kind of mansion, but it's like built in and around a tree. And I was gonna use whatever that fucking spell is that will immediately destroy whatever nature thing you touch. Is it blight? It might be blight. I don't remember. I might have just made that up. Anywho, there's a spell that essentially will destroy any like natural growth thing. And I was gonna have the party leave, and he was gonna blight the house down upon them. And he would presumably live. Yeah, that was my plan. The tree do a lot of bludgeoning damage. The tree do a lot of bludgeoning. Mochi, get out of there. Go. Hey, no. That's bad boy behavior. Go on. Go. Y'all are bad. They're like, hey, Momo. He immediately fight the baby. Yeah, so it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot. And I don't think our particular audience at the time would have been ready for that, because like Hal got the uwuification of the audience, even though that wasn't ever really him. He got a little infantilized. So I don't think that particular audience would have been ready for the kind of dark turn that I felt was right. I loved it though. He turned out okay in the end. I mean, he's destined to an eternity of struggling, but boy, do I love that for a character. I love the eternal struggle ending. Yeah. Anywho, all this was just to show off this art that Jackie did one time. He can go now. I love you, Hal. Anywho, basically became like a rock star in hell. Yuri, are you okay? Like, really? I have very expensive commissioned artwork of him on my walls. You know, I'm great. No, he's not rotting in hell. He's like he's a like 5-star general daddy down there. Can you stop fighting the baby? Mochi. Mochi doesn't like that little baby challenges him. It is good art. Oh, Thu's Howl cosplay. Ah, that was a good time. That was fucking hilarious. He was so hot in this art. Is this the this is when they were in the desert, right, Jackie? Hold on, chat. I thought I was done, but Jackie sent me more art of him. I love his broad nose and his ears. He's beautiful. He is beautiful to me. So this is before the demonification. Oh, fucking mop-headed half-elf sad bitch. You little bitch. Oh my goodness. Mochi, if you don't want to be bothered by him, then don't. He's gonna get you, Mochi. He's the man that you are. Can I play with his ears? Fuck, I would. Oh, this is the recent. Oh, yeah. Oh. So this is like a fairly recently drawn Howl. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. Did you ever draw? Do you have a V to show them? Because I'll show them his costume. Haru, what is wrong with you? This little baby is out of his mind. Have a good night, Glitch On. Why are you... This baby craves violence. So you guys want to... I'll give you a taste of pain. That sounds so horny. We're talking about my D&D love of my life, child, baby, war criminal man. So... we talked about his relationship with his bio dad. Wasn't great. He did have a Mayo with the $1.99 super chat says, "Hey, Mr. Yuri, how you been?" I've been great. Thank you very much. So he had what was a contentious relationship with his sort of adopted father figure, who was the boss of their like band of mercenaries. They became this tabaxi named Dren, who is this black cat, but a very like finely dressed, very fancy and proper, and kind of an asshole black cat. And when Owl returned to the mortal realm, he was inspired to use a disguise that was inspired by Dren. So this is V. And his full name was like an anagram of Dren's name. Yeah, his coat's sentient. If he uses, it had a really cool mechanic where if he has bonus HP, he can transfer it into the coat and then it springs to life. So it was very Megamind. Who's Doctor Strange? I call Doctor Strange Megamind, sorry. He definitely got a little Auron in him. Baby, you just fell. That's what happens. Yeah, so he was essentially the creator of the internet and social media. Yes, instead of a tripod, he would have the coat hold his what is essentially his phone and film him. Yeah. Anywho, if you ever want to know how to get me to stream longer than I'm supposed to. Oh, this one. Hold on, before we go. So Blake is Jackie's Warlock, who was like a rock star, kind of a little shit, and dealing with him was always fun. So we had moments like this. Mochi, what are you doing? Yeah, it was so horny. It was great. Sometimes I think about how Hal never knew love. That sure is an image. Yeah. Blake's a hottie too, for the record. But oh yeah, definitely got some Auron vibes. Auron definitely helped me figure out like what I wanted V to be like. But eventually they find out that V is just not who he is because the world's ending. Auron has done this to Charlie at some point. Jackie, I'm doing the tapping my credit card on the desk thing. Oh, you're right. Haru. Oh man. All right, the cats are demanding that I fucking go on with my life. It's been a long stream. Thank you all for hanging out. This has been fun. I always adore showing my my D&D nonsense. Okay, I'm tapping out. This has been great. Thank you all. One more question. A level 1 bard who can only charm Blades of Grass asks, given how much you love Hal, do you think you'd ever give him some audios? I don't think so, just because and also, who knows, he may be, I don't know, but I do love him, and man, he would make great content. Take care, y'all. Have a good night or time zone. Bye bye.